Let us now look at the most basic and most important rule of combinatorics, the product rule. We'll look at it by looking at one example, the sample example that I refer to also in future a lot, which is the example menu. A restaurant offers 2 appetizers, 5 main dishes, and 3 desserts. How many different 3-course menus can be created? We can select from appetizers, from main dishes, and from desserts. So the number of possibilities that we have for selection is for the appetizers there are 2, there are 5 main dishes, and desserts there are 3 desserts. Well, for each appetizer, so when I choose the soup, I can choose from 5 main dishes, which means 1 times 5. Now I can do the same with when I choose as an appetizer the salad. So I have 2 times 5 different possibilities for combining appetizers and main dishes. So 2 times 5. And now for each of these combinations, I can combine that again, each one with a dessert. So I have to multiply it by the 3. And I get as a final result, there are 30 different possibilities. I'll refer to this example as the menu example, and you'll hear that a lot. So the product rule is about we're having k locations or numbers of selections to be taken, and for location I, in our case, let's say for location I is appetizer, or for the product rule, we say we have k locations, and at each location we can choose amongst a certain number of different possibilities. So N1 is then the number of possibilities I have at location 1, N2 is the number of possibilities I have at location 2, and Nk is the number of possibilities I have at location k. Since I can combine each single possibility in location 1 with each single possibility in location 2, and so on until each single possibility in location k, I get as a total of amount of possibilities n1 times n2 times and so on. In our menu example, there are 3 locations. The k is 3, namely 1 location are the appetizers, 1 location the main dishes, and the last location are the desserts. And for each of them, I'm choosing now between a certain amount of possibilities. So N1, the first location being the appetizers, I can choose amongst 2 of them. For N2 being the main dishes, I can choose amongst 5. And N3 being the desserts, I can choose amongst 3. And hence I get the number of possibilities, 2 times 5 times 3, as we calculated it before. Let us now look at an example where we have to use the product rule, but first we always have to split the problem in sub-problems where then the product rule can be applied. The goal is here to go from A to B somehow, taking one of the possible paths and moving always only from left to right. How many different possibilities are there? Let us first look just at this part here, and in this part we'll look at EF. So the number of passes from E to F, there are 2 passes, which means in the end that from C to D I have 4 different passes. Looking at the bottom part, we see from G to H there are 3 passes, and from H to J there are 4 passes. So how many different paths are there from G to J? Well, obviously 3 times 4, so 12. I can combine every path here with every single path from H to J. And this yields in the end the total number of paths from A to B is just all the paths going the upper way, which means since there's only one way here and one way here, I get 1 times 4 times 1 plus the lower path is again only 1 here, then these 12 passes here and 1 here, so plus 1 times 12 times 1, and I get the final number 16.